I want to take the time today to address the matter of Will Smith, but not in the quote-unquote conventional way, because as most of you know, there now exists a plethora of videos, social commentary, etc., talking about Will Smith the cuck. Almost overnight, there have been born thousands of memes of cartoonish proportion and cartoonish nature in some respects. And it is simply astonishing because I think a lot of what people are saying, although kind of accurate, is missing the point, the major point about all of this. Yes, of course, Will Smith is a quote-unquote cuck. Will Smith has behaved inappropriately. In fact, he's offered a public apology by now. And Will Smith has been in a very strange marriage, one could say. A quote-unquote open marriage of sorts, if you wish to call it that. And a marriage in which Jada Pinkett Smith, the wife, actively cheated on him with a much younger guy. And there's been all sorts of analysis concerning this and why it happened and what have you. And all that's true. And you then have the option of just looking at Will Smith and saying, look, the guy is just a cuck. He's just a loser. He's just some guy who doesn't understand women. He doesn't understand what's going on. And the world has, as a consequence, made fun of him. It's always difficult to say whether people deserve to be made fun of. I'm not really sure if that's even an appropriate question to ask. These things simply happen, and consequently people are, quote-unquote, made fun of. However, I think that there's a key element here that people are missing out on, and that is that Will Smith, in my opinion, is in serious danger. Now, you might be thinking, well, how is he in serious danger? He's a multimillionaire. He's got fame, money. Okay, he's put himself in a silly position, and he looks pretty silly, and the whole situation is a bit strange. But hear me out. This concatenation of events within his marriage, leading up to the events on the Oscar nights, with the slap, with his frustration, is anyone else thinking what I'm thinking? Of the very real and possibly imminent danger of his own self-extinguishment, of his own self-annihilation, of his potential willingness to erase himself from the world? Well, I don't think so. Because, if anything, all the commentary and the people making fun of him and all the negativity projected towards him is probably going to amplify that and accelerate it. He's gone on public record, by the way, for mentioning that he has struggled with this idea before, specifically and precisely this idea of self-deletion. So, does anyone think he's in a better position now with all the stress and nonsense that's going on? Again, I'm not trying to excuse his behavior on Oscar night or any other sort of behavior he might have shown us. But I do think it's very important to bear in mind that the man is not in a stable headspace. Clearly not. And I don't think anyone can necessarily help him. He's not exactly young, and he has been through some interesting experiences. And clearly in an ideal world, he would have known certain things. He would have learned something about human male-female relations and how they work. How he, in air quotes, should be behaving versus how he is behaving. And how he can handle all of this. He would have learned something about that. But for whatever reason, he has not learned about these things. Certainly doesn't detract away from the fact that he's an excellent actor. He is a very good actor. But being a good actor does not empower you with the knowledge to navigate certain difficult questions and aspects of life. Above all, the nature of male-female relations and how one can navigate that nature, assuming one is even inclined to begin with. And in his case, he clearly was, because he got married and had kids popped out. On top of all of that, it is very clear that their marriage has always been quote-unquote problematic and it's had issues. Some of his children are very odd, to say the least, or have turned out odd. And I don't think it's a coincidence because of the difficulties that their marriage has been through. I think this is the time now to maybe cease with the memes and the laughter and just hope that this guy can somehow figure something out that allows him to move on in a positive direction that isn't going to end with him annihilating himself from this world. Now, in theory, Will Smith could have a number of options. He could leave the marriage. There's still women out there, if that's what he wants, who would take an active interest in him. He could try to withdraw a little bit from the public spotlight. That's certainly what I would do. And reflect and cogitate. But I'm genuinely concerned that this guy, and I don't think he's a bad person, is veering ever more closely in the direction of, you know what, I can't deal with any of this anymore. It doesn't make sense to me, and I'm clearly not in control of myself. So have a good one, and see you in the next life. I think there's a very real and acute danger of that, and people are just ignoring it. Instead, they're just dogpiling on the guy. Yes, his behavior was not appropriate. Yes, it would have been good if he had learned certain things and behaved in a certain way. But he's not a villain, and he's not really a bad guy. He's a really unlucky guy who sadly has experienced a lot of marital misfortune. Was his wife the best choice for him? Probably not. In fact, she's been probably the linchpin in all of this, because she's led to his agitated, depressive state. Publicly complaining about his abilities in bed, openly or semi-openly cheating on him, and the list goes on and on. Ideally, in an ideal world, he should leave her, move on, take some time for himself, maybe take a year or two off, leave the public sphere. If he really, really, really needs it, find some new female that he can couple up with, one who's not going to act this way. He's done his job. He's had his kids popped out. He doesn't need much else. And just really, really reflect on things. Because I think it's definitely possible, given his wealth and resources, for him to still have a pretty decent life. He doesn't need to be in the spotlight unless he's addicted to it. And in his case, he might in fact be addicted to it. But with all the stress, duress, and pressure he's been under, partly caused by his own hand, admittedly, no pun intended, there is a very real risk and danger of self-deletion. I don't see anyone really wishing that upon him. I certainly don't. I would like to see him take steps, proactive steps to stop that. So this is something people just forget when they dogpile on these guys. And again, he's not a bad guy. This might be the end result. Are people then going to laugh at him when he's passed because of that? I hope not. Anyway, my 2 cents on this rather silly but potentially very saddening and dangerous affair. As always, thank you for tuning in. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, share if you've not yet done so. And if I'm still alive, I will check you out later. May the gods watch over you. Bye-bye. Take care.
If you liked this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you enjoy my content, please consider making a donation or becoming a patron. Thanks for watching.